On May 20th, 2013, a monster EF5 tornado struck the city of Moore, Oklahoma. This monster tornado would level much of the town, including several schools. This giant brick wall of destruction, as called by witnesses, would tragically kill 24 people and injure over 210 and cost around $2 billion in damages. In this documentary, we are going over everything, from the science behind it to the tornado itself. Hi, I'm Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and welcome to the 2013 Moore Tornado documentary. The Moore tornado is very infamous for several reasons. The first reason is because of its strength, but another reason is because it is the last EF5 recorded as of 2022. However, this EF5 tornado would go on to destroy a community that 14 years earlier had suffered apocalyptic damage. In this documentary, we will go over everything, not only just the tornado itself, but what conditions that were going on that day as well as some other unknown facts about this tornado. Welcome to the 2013 Moore Tornado documentary. On May 3rd, 1999, a F5 tornado demolished the towns of Bridge Creek and Moore and plowed into southern Oklahoma City, the tornado capital of the world. This near-apocalyptic tornado would result in 36 deaths and over $1 billion in damages. Since then, Oklahoma City invested tens of millions of dollars to improve its advanced warning systems and storm shelters across the metro area. 14 years later, however, these improvements would be put to the test as another day of extreme weather was expected. On May 20th, 2013, the Storm Prediction Center issued a moderate risk of severe weather for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. The SPC also put out a 10% tornado risk for parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas with a hatched area, which means that there is a 10% risk of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes occurring within 25 miles of a point. The wind risk was at 45% that day for parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. However, the biggest threat was the hail threat, reaching a 45% risk with a hatched area in parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas. That means that there is a 45% risk of 2-inch hail or greater within 25 miles of a point. Before we talk about the results of the SCUTs, we must first talk about how they work. SCUTs measure temperature, dew point, and plot a parcel path in the upper atmosphere. In simple terms, the green line is the dew point and the red line is the temperature, where the black line is the parcel path. If the parcel path is to the right of the temperature, that means that it is saturated, and the space between the parcel path and temperature is the convective available potential energy, or CAPE for short. The more CAPE you have, the more severe weather is possible. How large the CAPE is depends on how much space there is between the parcel path and temperature there is. Countering this CAPE is the amount of stable air that is below the CAPE, more commonly known as the cap. If there is a strong cap, and severe weather is less likely due to the amount of stable air countering this CAPE. However, if the cap is weaker, the CAPE can easily overcome it. If the cap breaks, it will break explosively and potentially permit lots of severe weather to occur. At 7 a.m. on May 20th, the CAPE at Oklahoma City was 1,677 joules per kilogram. However, by 18 UTC or 1 p.m., 2 hours before the tornado would touch down, the CAPE had exploded to 4,463 joules per kilogram, an extremely conducive environment, meaning that any kind of cap breaking could mean a massive severe weather outbreak. Just as in the May 3rd, 1999 event, the jet stream and wind profiles for May 20th were almost perfect for severe weather with potentially very powerful supercells. There was plenty of moisture for the formation of these thunderstorms, and the dry line was right in place for it to impact the Oklahoma City metro area once again. This infamous tornado would first touch down at 2:56 p.m. near Long Drive, Oklahoma in McLean County, and was caught on camera developing by a news chopper for KFOR in Oklahoma City.
to it. It's going to be just a couple miles north of the Bailey Turnpike, right there on the ground.
Folks, this tornado has power. This tornado has power. Let's go. We got to break away, go to the, oh man, let's not break away yet. Okay, where is this? This is going to be, it's going to hit the Newcastle Casino. Again, you folks in the Newcastle Casino, if you're watching us, or the folks that are in charge of the Newcastle Casino, man, you got to get them in that safe area now, because it is right, it's a half a mile west of the Newcastle Casino right now, and it's going to exactly hit right at the junction of the Newcastle Highway and Interstate 44 at Ward 152 junction.
It was originally a stovepipe tornado as it caused EF1 damage to a home and some trees in the area. However, it soon rapidly intensified, and its intensification was caught on camera by the news chopper and on the ground. It rapidly intensified to an EF4 tornado while widening to a half a mile wide wedge tornado. Ground scouring began to affect the area, and it would destroy a subdivision at EF3 strength. At 3:01 p.m., the National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency for southern Oklahoma City and Moore.
Okay, let's go to the storm tracker. Tornado emergency now in effect for Moore. Tornado emergency for Moore. You folks in Moore, you need to grab whatever it is you need to grab, and you need to go underground. Bottom line, grab your kids, grab your loved ones, grab your friends, or just get out of the way. Tornado emergency for Moore. Big half-mile wide plus tornado shrouded in debris on the northern side of the Newcastle Casino. Here is the Warren Theater right here. There's downtown Moore. This is North 12th, South 4th, South 19th, South 34th, or South 164th at I-44. It is lifting Moore to the north. Big debris ball there. That whole thing is the tornado. The debris ball's over a mile wide.
The tornado remained a powerful EF3 as it crossed into Cleveland County, and a decommissioned U.S. Route 62-277 bridge was heavily damaged. After this, the tornado would begin to rapidly widen to over a mile-wide tornado as it intensified again to an EF4 as it began leveling homes around 149th Street. The tornado would cycle between EF3 and EF4 intensity as it flattened several homes as it moved through rural areas. 4 oil tanks were blown away, one thrown over a mile away while another was never found. The tornado would then intensify to an EF5 as it began to scour ground to bare soil, and vehicles were thrown and stripped to their frames. The tornado would then hit Briarwood Elementary School, and it was completely destroyed. It was originally rated as EF5 damage. However, upon reanalysis, it was revealed that there was evidence of poor construction at the school, and it was controversially downgraded to EF4 strength. Remarkably, no one was killed. The tornado would intensify even further as it entered densely populated Moore and would utterly destroy the Westmore subdivision, flattening anchor-built homes, and swept 2 of the homes off their foundation, warranting EF5 strength and damage. Lab due to the tornado while it was also scouring soil and remained extremely violent. Entire blocks of homes were flattened and trees defoliated as this tornado barreled through downtown Moore. The most fatalities in this tornado would occur in the Plaza Towers neighborhood of Moore, including one woman that was killed trying to shelter in a closet.
A May 3rd type tornado, I would just venture to say it looks like it's about an EF4. It could be an EF5. Makes no difference. You got to be below ground. Interior closet or bathroom is not going to do it, or get out of its way. Storm cellar, basement, or safe room, or below ground of any kind. Do not be in your car near the tornado. Drive away from it if you have no option to save your life. Abandon where you are if you cannot get below ground. South 19th at exactly at Western Avenue right now is where that is. Go, Mike Bennett.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, it's mainly tracking down 19th Street. I think it might be just a little bit north of.
The tornado would then hit Moore Medical Center, which sustained EF4 damage and had at least a dozen cars piled up against it. The tornado would then intensify to EF5 strength once again, as it would completely slab a row of 4 well-built brick homes with anchor bolts. An open field was scoured soon after, and the Warren Theater sustained extensive damage from the tornado, but was not directly hit, likely sparing the building. A bowling alley and a 7-Eleven were completely leveled, with 4 people dying in the 7-Eleven, including a 3-month-old infant. The tornado would once again cycle between EF3 and EF4 strength as it crossed Interstate 35. A large grassy field was scoured to soil, and it would strike Hunter's Green Court at EF5 intensity, completely slabbing a brick home in the process. The tornado then moved into Moore's eastern neighborhoods. Highland East Junior High School's main building was spared, however, the gymnasium building was completely destroyed. The Moore Public Schools Administration building was also obliterated by the tornado. This tornado was starting to narrow, but it was still cycling between high-end EF4 and EF5 intensity. 2 Will-built anchor homes were once again slabbed, and debris was scattered far and wide from where it originated.
Mike, this is fixing to get in a bad area because we're coming right back into housing additions and more of the residential part of town here. And look at that power flash on the far right of your screen. If you look in there, take a look at that. It's way out there, so the wind in front of this thing has got to be just whipping. So,
as the tornado exited Moore, it began to rapidly weaken, becoming an EF3 tornado as it still destroyed several industrial buildings. The tornado would then make its last stand and strengthen to an EF4 one last time, as it destroyed 2 homes in a concrete building. The tornado would then narrow and rapidly weaken to EF2 strength as it damaged more homes in a farm. Finally, at 3:35 p.m., the tornado completely dissipated after 36 agonizing minutes of pure destruction not seen since the Bridge Creek Moore tornado.
Just going to hit that water treatment plant on the southwest side of Draper. So if you're in this area, I believe it's like the Draper 74th Street, I think is what it is. If you're in that area, definitely seek caution. If you're going to be south of Draper, on the east side of Draper, you need to be in your shelter. This thing is not light. It's not letting up. It's actually, looks like it's decreased a little bit. We've lost, I think, a lot of the debris, so it kind of changed the shape of it. It gave it more of a barrel shape and not as much of a structure. So you can actually see the shape of the tornado now, because the only thing that it's got to rip up right now is trees. We're not getting all the construction debris that we had earlier that actually appears to give it a wider base than it is. But it's continuing to rip. It's kind of got a big, like a trunk down, and then it kind of has a little V-funnel right there, tracking straight for 149th Street in the southwest side of Draper Lake, right towards the water treatment plant at this time. And it's really fizzling out as we're seeing. I'm going to do another turn here. I'm getting kind of far away, but it looks like it's roping out a little bit, and this is over like 149th Street and maybe just the east side of Air Depot Road. There it is. It's gone, Mike. So let's see. We're going to stay right here. We're going to see if it recycles, but it's completely roped out, or it's continuing to rope out as we speak right now. And
the damage was once again catastrophic. An estimated 1,150 homes were destroyed, with entire subdivisions flattened or slabbed. In total, 24 people were killed, including 8 children, and 212 were injured. The estimated damage was at least $2 billion, making it the most expensive tornado since the Joplin tornado at the time. Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin declared a state of emergency, and President Barack Obama declared it a major disaster area and ordered federal aid to Moore and the affected areas. The Moore City Council would make several changes to the building codes, including requiring all new home construction to include hurricane clips and garage doors that were strong enough to sustain winds up to 135 miles per hour, storm shelters for every home, and to have continuous plywood bracing. This tornado would be the last EF5 rated tornado as of May 20th, 2022. However, 11 days later, a controversial tornado, in its rating at least, would become arguably way more infamous and overshadow this Moore tornado. However, that is a story for another time. But in the meantime, my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims involved. And in September of 2020, I actually was in Moore, Oklahoma, and the very eerie thing that I noticed there is that the way I know where the tornado went and where it damaged a lot is by how new the homes are. When you're there, it's a very eerie feeling that the homes are so new, and it's not because they were remodeled or they were recently built. It's because that this tornado tore it all down and they had to rebuild. But with that being said, I will leave you with this. My thoughts and prayers are out to those who were involved. It must have been a traumatic experience in those elementary schools. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this documentary. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me make more documentaries like these. Also, comment down below if you or a family member was affected by this tornado. And with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe.